Daf Yomi Tractate Zevachim, page 47a, top of the page. Sometimes I bring in the PL 89 calendar to the Daf Yomi because whenever it's pertinent. Today on the PL 89 calendar, we are on T11, which means the 10-day twilight 11. That means October 31st in this dispensation goes, off the chart, like literally, because there's no space for a 10-day twilight. It goes, so it's 11, very rare, but it is 10-day twilight 11, and that's the Gregorian, the Hebrew, it's Cheshvan 9, and that's today's daf, which is 47. So the box number for Cheshvan 9 is 36. But what is 36 plus 11? 47. What's today's daf? 47. That means a combination. It's gem 47 is the gem for this. The combination of the PL89 Gregorian date and Hebrew date. You add them together, you get a number, and that's used for calculating. Today's day, that number 36 plus 11 equals 47. And today's daf is Zevachim 47. It was too amazing to pass up. So anyway, top of Zevachim 47 is the words Minayin and Midasik Kodesh Mishu Pasu Shinem V'Shachas Ben Bakum Bnei Hashem Ad Shtehei Shchito L'Shem Ben Bakum. From where is it derived? With regard to one who acts unawares in the case of consecrated items, meaning if one slaughtered an offering without intending to perform the act of slaughter at all, but rather like one occupied with other matters, that the offering is disqualified. Rav Huna said to Shmuel, it is derived from a verse, as it is stated, and he shall slaughter the young bull before the Lord. Leviticus 1:5. Teaching that the mitzvah is not performed properly unless the slaughter is for the sake of a young bull, meaning knowing that he is performing the act of slaughter. Amar le zubidenu elakav minayin. Amar le retzonkem tisbachu ledatchem zevachim. Shmuel said to Rav Huna, we have this as an established halacha already. What? That is a mitzvah. It is a mitzvah to slaughter the offering for the sake of a bull. But from where is it derived that this requirement is indispensable? Rav Huna said to him, that the verse states, with your will you shall slaughter it. Leviticus 19, verse 5. Meaning, with your full awareness you shall slaughter it in the form of a purposeful action. Ki haytana Tanya. Amar Bilos Bero Yosi Shabbat Yishabal Novagni. Amar Rafa my time of Rabbi Elazar Bero Yosi. Timar Kravi Kriv Hamakri. The Mishnah teaches because the intent follows only the one performing the sacrificial rite. More comments. The Mishnah is not in accordance with the opinion of this time, as it is taught in a Braita that Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Yosi, says, I heard that even the owner of an offering can render it pigul through improper intention. Rava says, what is the reason of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Yosi? As the verse states, then he who sacrifices shall sacrifice his offering to the Lord. Numbers 15:4. The term he who sacrifices is a reference to the owner. Since the owner is considered one who sacrifices, he too can render his offering pigul with improper intention. Amar Abaye, Rabbi Elazar ben Amar Abaye, Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Yosi, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. Kulas vereluz ze machashav ze oidi. Havia machshava. Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Yosi, Ahad Yamara. Abaye says Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Yosi, and Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar all hold that even in a case involving two people where This one has intention and that one performs the service. It is the intention that is relevant. Meaning, it is as though the one performing the service had the intention. The Gemara explains, the statement of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Yossi, is that which we just said, that the owner can render his offering pigul through improper intention despite the fact that it is the priest who performs this service. Rabbi Eliezer, Nitnan, Shoichet Legoy, Chitasik Shera. Rabbi Eliezer, the statement of Rabbi Eliezer is, as we learned in the Mishnah in Kulin 38b, with regard to one who slaughters an animal on behalf of a non-Yehudi, his slaughter is valid, and Yehudi may eat the meat of this animal. Rabbi Eliezer deems it unfit, as the intention of the non-Yehudi, which is presumably to use the animal for idol worship, invalidates the act of slaughter performed by the Yehudi. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar Tznan, Omar Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, כל שאין קשה להצניע, אין מצניעין כמוהו, הוכשר לזה לצניעו ובאחר והציעו, נתחייב לזה במחשבה של זה. Statement Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, yes, as we learned in a variety, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar stated a principle. In case of any item that is not fit to be stored, and therefore people do not typically store items like it, but it was deemed fit for storage by this person, and he stored it, and another person can carry it out on the Shabbat. The item that was stored, that one who carried it out is rendered liable by the thought of this one who stored it. The Gemara notes these two sages, Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, although their rulings are stated in the context of entirely different matters, except as halacha, the ruling of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Yossi. The Gemara explains now that concerning matters outside the temple, meaning non-sacred slaughter and carrying on Shabbat, with regard to which the Torah makes no reference to intention, we say that the intention of one person is effective for the action of another. Is it necessary to state that the same halacha applies to matters inside the temple, meaning offerings, with regard to which it is explicitly stated that intention is effective, as indicated by the verse, with your will you shall slaughter, Leviticus 19:5. Rabbi Elazar Yossi Leslu Tetarvayu Dilma Bifnim Udiamin Mechutz Lamrinan. But Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Yossi, does not necessarily accept as halacha the rulings of these two sages, Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. The Gemara explains, perhaps it is only concerning inside the temple that we say that one person's intention is effective for the action of another, whereas concerning outside the temple we do not say this. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar is laid Rabbi Eliezer has to b'Shabbos Marin and Bavadizali. The Gemara further differentiates between the opinions of those two sages themselves. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar accepts as the halacha the ruling Rabbi Eliezer. Now that with regard to Shabbat we say that the intention of one person is effective for the action of another. Is it necessary to say the same applies concerning idol worship, where the actions are somewhat similar to those performed in the temple? Rabbi Eliezer Lesley, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, Dilma v'Elazar hu d'amret kein rifnim avar Shabbos b'lechet machsheves asr Torah. But Rabbi Eliezer does not necessarily accept as halacha the ruling of Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. Perhaps it's only with regard to idol worship that you say that one person's intention is effective for the action of another. As idol worship is somewhat similar to the service performed inside the temple. Consequently, it is reasonable that one person's intention is effective for the action of another in the case of idolatry, as it does for offerings. But with regard to Shabbat, the Torah prohibited only planned constructive labor, meaning one is liable only for an action that includes the creative intent of the doer. And here, the one who took the item out did not intend to perform a labor. Hadanach Beis Shammai. We finished the chapter Beis Shammai, starting the new chapter. I think it's the fifth one. Ezu Mekoman. Ezu Mekoman Shem Zevachim. Kodesh Kodeshim Shchilas Tzafon. What is the location of the slaughtering and consumption of offerings? The principle is that with regard to offerings of the most sacred order, Their slaughter is in the north of the temple courtyard.
מתנה אחת מהן מהכבש, שהרי אדם היה שופך על יסוד מערבי של מזבח החיצון, ואם לא נתן לא יקב.
Specifically with regard to the bull and the goat of Yom Kippur, their slaughter is in the north, and the collection of their blood in a service vessel in the north. And their blood requires sprinkling between the staves of the ark, in the Holy of Holies, and upon the curtain separating the sanctuary and Holy of Holies, and on the golden altar. Concerning all those sprinklings, concerning all those sprinklings, concerning all those sprinklings, concerning all those sprinklings, where are we? Concerning all those sprinklings, failure to perform even one placement of their blood disqualifies the offering. As to the remainder of the blood which is left after those sprinklings, the priest would pour it on to the western base of the external altar. But if he did not place the remainder of the blood on the western base, it does not disqualify the offering. Porim hanisrofim, usirim hanisrofim, shchitas ha-mitzvah, v'kibul daman u'klisharet, v'tzafen, v'daman tanazaya al-b'roiches, v'yal mizbeach ha'zahav. With regard to bulls that are burned and goats that are burned, their slaughter is in the north of the temple courtyard, and the collection of their blood in a service vessel is in the north. And their blood requires sprinkling upon the curtain, separating the sanctuary and Holy of Holies, and upon the golden altar. This concludes Zevachim 47a.